Hi everyone! In this video, I'm going to be doing a book review about a book that I recently completed but have had in my collection for a very long while. And the title of this book is How to Enchant a Man. Spells to Bewitch, Bedazzle, and Beguile. And it's written by Ellen Dugan. I think it's pronounced Dugan. But as you can see, all of the red has wiped off because I was so busy reading it. So what drew me towards this book at this particular time is I have been working on increasing my own personal power. I've been working on trying to increase my own sensuality. And also I'm trying to seduce two people. So. Anyway. Let us get back to the subject. So this book was published in 2008, so it is over a decade old. This is an old photograph of Ellen, looking cute and sultry as always. She is currently 56 years old, so I have gone to her website to find a more recent picture of her, and you look good, girl. She's still working her love magic. I believe she's still currently married because in this book she was married. So this is a picture she took this year. Hey, I'm loving her bangs. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about her, and then we will get on to some of the parts of the books that I really liked. So it says, Ellen Dugan is the award-winning author of over 30 books and The Witch's Tarot. She branched out successfully into paranormal fiction in 2015 with her popular Legacy of Magic series. Her portfolio of work also includes dozens of articles in the, I cannot pronounce this word, I've seen it before, but it's Lewellyn. I don't know if it's Owen or Lowen. Almanacs and calendars and 15 nonfiction books. She has been a practicing witch for over 35 years, and she is a psychic clairvoyant. So she has over 300,000 books sold, a global following. She was on the news channel in St. Louis. Hey, St. Louis. She's done numerous newspaper and radio interviews and a 2-hour guest spot on the national syndicated live radio show. And some other things. Well, this lady's doing some things. She has fiction books. She has nonfiction books. She even has a cruise. She's going on tour. Next year she's going to be in Michigan. So I'm going to try to see if I can somehow go to Michigan and meet her in person. And the reason I decided to just read, one of the other reasons I decided to read her book is because it says she received her Master Gardener status to the University of Missouri. And I have this weird thing where if somebody's from my town or state, I'm just like, hey, repping my city, repping my state. I want to meet you. And I try to read their books. I try to see if they're in town so that I can meet them in person and discuss different things. But yeah, very interesting lady. So this book, I would say, is targeted towards those who are just entering magic, those who are beginners at magic. I'm not saying that if you are an expert that you don't need this book, because sometimes it's good to go back to the drawing board, back to the drawing board. But I feel with the language she is using in this book, how she is speaking, how she is simplifying various concepts, I feel that her target audience are beginning practitioners. So chapter 1, she talks about enchantment is a woman's bewitching art. And I love how at the beginning of every chapter, she'll have something from a song, like an excerpt from a song, an excerpt from a poem or a quote related to the chapter. So she talks that magic is a sympathetic process. It works on the basis of your own personal psychic power and connection, vibration, or harmony between things. And let me see, rules of the game. Harm none. Manipulation is bad. Do not target anyone specifically. Respect the tides of nature and the elements. Celebrate your connection to the goddess. Follow the rule of 3. So if you have been in magic long enough, you would know that these rules, they're universal in general, but it kind of has like a Wiccan slant, like Wiccan, which isn't bad. I like Wiccans, but like harm none. That's part of the Wiccan read. Like by the Wiccan law, ye must in perfect love and perfect trust say rules of Wiccan read fulfill. If ye harm none, do what you will. And she has the connection to the goddess, which also relates to this book because her target audience, I believe, is heterosexual women. She doesn't truly mention anything about bisexual women. She doesn't mention anything about like trans women or lesbians. It's usually like you are targeting a man, a heterosexual woman targeting a man. So if you're okay with this type of tone, then this is the perfect book for you. If you are not of heterosexual nature or a woman, I still say this book would apply to you. You know, just mold it to what you feel. The connection to the goddess, that's in Wicca as well. But still, these are very good rules to follow when you are doing love magic. So I'm going to share with you some stories of my own personal experiences with love magic, spells that blew up in my face, spells that worked but kind of didn't work. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Love magic can be unpredictable. Yes. Yes. Typically, when you work a manipulative love spell on someone specific, all hell breaks loose. I'm going to get to that part after I get to the happy parts of this book, where I'm going to tell you about the mistakes I made personally, the things you can do to prevent these things. So let's just go to the parts that I liked. I'm not going to go through the whole book, but the parts that truly stood out to me. So one section that I enjoyed was charmed, I'm sure, attracting a new love. She goes through flirtation, charm, courtship, what to wear, basically preparing your body to attract this man that you are trying to attract. Men are very visual creatures. If they're not visual creatures, they might be auditory creatures, like the sirens, where they don't even know who's singing, they're just hearing the voice and they get attracted to the woman's voice, the tone of her voice. You might not be the most beautiful woman in the room, but if you have that voice, you can hypnotize a man and draw him to you. You can whisper, like, you lower your voice like, hey, blah, 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 blah. And he'll have to lean in to hear what you're saying. When he leans in, he can smell your perfume. Very clever. Anyway, 49. Okay, flirting 101. Wearing high heels. I'm not going to tell you all of the things that she said, just some of the things that stood out. Wearing high heels. One point in my life, I did not like wearing high heels. I thought they were stupid. I still think they're kind of stupid. As I'm like, it's just a pointy thing at the back, but whatever. If you are a woman that really wants to attract a man, sometimes you do have to show a little leg. That's why show a little leg came after high heels. Spend all of this winter, because right now it's November 17th. This is winter time. So if it's winter right now, this is a good time to hide your legs. Spend all winter polishing your legs, exfoliating your legs, getting rid of scars, doing leg exercises, so that by the time summer comes and you wear your skirt, you'll be able to show off your legs. When you wear a high heel, it's something like it pushes up that muscle, which makes your leg look more shapely. It makes your everything look more shapely, and it forces you to, have better posture. So you can't just be walking slouch in high heels. It's going to hurt your back. It forces you to straighten your back. When you straighten your back, you lift out your chest. You might not have a big chest, but still, like, it's making you look like you're walking like a supermodel. I've attracted more men that way than I have just wearing regular shoes. Another is paint your fingernails. I just started painting my fingernails like 2 years ago, okay? When I paint my fingernails, it forces me to take better care of my nails. The fingernail polish, for some reason, makes my nails grow. It makes them longer and causes my hand to be more feminine looking. So if you're a woman that works with your hands, still try painting your nails. You know, like it makes your hand look more elegant. It makes your moves look more charming. It makes you want to put on rings. Don't sit with other women all night. Why? You might be wanting to hang out with your friends and everything, but some men won't come up to you because they're intimidated by all of these different women around you. Some of the women you may feel look better than you. You may feel stand out, and it distracts the man from looking at you. But when you're by yourself, it's all you. He can approach you because there's nobody there. You might like him back, but your friends might not think he's anything and push him away, you know? You might be like, oh, she doesn't even want a man. She probably already has one, because if she wanted one, she'd be by herself, but she's just laughing with her girls over there. If I go over there and say something to her, it might appear to be rude to the other women, you know? Now I have to flirt with all of them. Eliminate the competition, even though it's your friend, okay? Smile. Look over your shoulder and smile. That's what you can use. Watch your language. Whisper. It draws them closer. You see, even she said this stuff. Whisper. It draws them closer. Play with your hair. I don't know, just different things. Everybody has their own flirtation style. She talks about wearing beautiful clothing. What are you wearing to bed? If you are in a relationship, you have to seduce your person your entire life or the entire relationship in subtle ways. Always keep them hunting for you. You are the prize. I've noticed a lot of men like to hunt. When they get bored, they'll try to hunt somewhere else. But if you always keep yourself on point, you can leave at any time. Okay? When I had my 6-year ex, one time during our relationship, I was really focusing on myself. I was focusing on how I looked. I was dressing extra nice. I was taking extra care of my skin. And this was to attract him. I was trying to make myself more attractive to him. And one day, or maybe he was watching me do all of these things, and he was watching me increase in my beauty. So instead of, being flattered, he's like, oh, I see you're trying to get a new boyfriend. Like, dude, I'm doing this for you. What the heck? Like, but hey, like some men, they will basically beat a woman down and then leave her for a woman that was just like her. Have you ever noticed husbands that have beautiful wives, and then once their wives reach a certain age, they'll go after a younger woman who looks like a younger version of their wife? It's crazy. I know I hate to play these games. I know we shouldn't have to play these games, but sometimes that's just what you're going to have to do. You always have to keep yourself prepared. You always have to keep yourself together. So even if he does go out of the door, your self-esteem, your self-love will be so intact that it really won't matter. You can replace him in like 2 months. You'll be like, okay, bye. He'll replace you. So long. I don't know. But as I said, personal experience. When my 6-year ex left me for that other girl who was my friend for 10 years and moved into her house, the time period that he left me, my whole body was broken down. I was sick. I had stopped dressing up. My clothes were all black. My hair was limp. I was not taking good care of myself. You always have to take good care of yourself, because that will also prevent you from becoming a part of an abusive relationship. Sometimes I know when a woman is being cheated on or abused because I'm looking at how she's dressed. I'm just like, her hygiene goes down, her hair isn't fixed, she just in the background like a shadow. That is not how we want to enchant a man. If you're still depressed about some other relationship, we're just gonna have to pick ourselves up by our bootstraps, give ourselves a makeover, and get going. Because next thing you know, they'll be knocking on your door. Anyway, putting elements to work in relationships. So she talks about like earth, air signs, like earth and water, air and air. Good advice. Me, I'm more like, I don't care what zodiac sign you are. I just look at you as an individual. I know there are certain traits that are generic for every sign, like an air sign, a Leo. I'm a Leo. It's obvious I'm 100% Leo because I'm just all in your face, sometimes loud, sometimes passionate. I am a true Leo. But some people are not like that. Some people do not act like their sign. They act like something else because they have other elements in their chart. Bringing passion back to a loving relationship. So let's say you're in a relationship and you've been in this relationship for a while and it just starts going cold. Once a relationship starts going cold, the chances for infidelity increases. That is why when you are doing love magic, the main person you want to focus on is not your dude, not another dude. You want to focus on yourself because you are the magic. You have to make yourself more magnetic in order to keep their attention. A lot of women, I've noticed, after they've gotten married, after they've had children, they become more comfortable. They stop working out. They stop dressing up. They just stop. You know, they just let themselves go. I'm not saying that they're doing it and it's a bad thing. I'm just saying like their priorities change. Like when you have a baby, and I don't have any children. I'm just saying this from watching my friends with children. When you have a child, when you have a family, that is important. It's supposed to be your most important focus, you know? You're sacrificing your time to take your kid to soccer practice. Your baby is sick, you gotta feed them. Your husband, he's got a new job, you have to support him. Like all these different things, he's going through a midlife crisis. Like you don't want to do push-ups after you pushed out a baby 3 months ago. You just like, I'm done, I'm feeding this baby, I'm tired. Can somebody please rub my feet? But it's okay, because motherhood, that is a part of life. It adds beauty to a woman. The goddess is not just a maiden. She is a maiden, a mother, and a crone. You can be beautiful at all stages in your life. So if you have a partner, a husband, a fiance, a boyfriend, and you've been together for a period of time, you just gotta work to keep yourself together, to keep him interested. That's why one of the parts in this book is the sneak attack. Sometimes your sex life might be cold. You gotta jump on him, you know? Feed him some herbs, feed him some maca root, slip it into his food. Get him some yams. Take some fenugreek for yourself, take some maca for yourself. Start polishing your toenails and getting your hair done. Don't wear drab clothes to bed. Like get some new beautiful lingerie to go to sleep. Take on new interests. Surprise him. Think of the things that you used to do when you were younger, like the hobbies that you had. You know, a lot of women, they'll put their passions aside after they have been in a relationship, after they've been a mother. They forget about the things that used to make them glow, the things that attracted this dude to them in the first place. Be those things, because if you don't be yourself, he's going to find someone. If he's a complete, a-hole, he's going to find someone who used to be the younger version of you, who used to be the old version of you. You'll be like, this girl does exactly what I did before. Well, she's still doing it, and that's why he's attracted to her. As I said, I've had this happen to me, where I used to be involved in certain things, and then I stopped, and the person I was in a relationship with became attracted to somebody else who did the exact same thing that I did. You cannot lose yourself when you get into a relationship. Whew, okay. She mentions spells to do during the different seasons of the year. There's spells for Yuletide, there's spells for Imbolc and Candlemas and all of these various things, May Day, Beltane. I'm not going to share all of her spells with you because I want you to support the author, get the book yourself, you know, keep a sister getting some income in, okay? Charming your jewelry. So I'm flipping through these chapters. But I'm going to go to the last section of this book, which is chapter 8, The Dark Side of Love. When a love spell has gone wrong. When a love spell has gone wrong. She put The Dark Side of Love in the back of the book because this book is targeted for beginners. And I'm glad that she did not put how dark love spells could get in this book. Like, she mentioned a couple of dark things, but it's not as dark as it could possibly go. So I'm going to share now some of my personal experiences inspired by the darkness spells in here. She mentions breaking up spells, fascinations. Hold on. One woman did a spell and the guy wouldn't leave her alone. Money order, or not money order. She had to put a restraining order against him because the love spell went wrong. Protecting your man. How to disenchant a man. I'm going to go through all this stuff because I've done all of these things. So, love spells going wrong and how you can prevent this stuff from happening to you. So, example number 1. I'm going to start off with a soft example. And I have a honey jar. So, one year I was single. I was lonely. I was like, you know what? I just want a boyfriend. I want a boyfriend. I'm tired of being by myself. Blah, 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 blah. I'm lonely. What I should have done was just chill out and learn on how to love on myself. But instead of doing this whole chill out thing, I decided to make a honey jar. If you don't know what a honey jar is, and this is not a love honey jar, this is another honey jar. A honey jar is basically where you're sweetening a situation or you're using it to attract things. So the honey jar I made was for a dude. I wrote in my petition what I wanted, the exact qualities I wanted in a dude. I wrote, and I sat down in meditation and wrote this. I was like, I want a guy, I want him to be between 20 to 35. And I want him to have beautiful eyes. I want him to be such and such a height and have no kids and blah, 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 and be very affectionate. I wrote out every single thing. Like, I was so serious. I was so serious. I had flowers from a Hindu temple that had been prayed over by like 40 people. I had my hair. I had blood. I had sugar, spices, herbs, flowers, crystals. It was intense. This ritual took like 2 or 3 days. I was chanting over this honey jar. I put all the things related to love in the jar. I poured the honey over it because you pour the honey over it to make your spell stick. And I just sat it there and I was like, it is done. Did you know this dude appeared 2 months later? I had a dream about it before he appeared. This dude matched almost everything I had written out, but not quite. That's where the love spell went wrong. Because sometimes when you are too specific about something, the universe will send you exactly what you want. But there might be one key ingredient that you are missing that will make the whole thing just crappy. That is why if you do a love spell, don't be too general, because the universe might have something better for you. There might be some quality that you forget to add. You know, there might be some quality you forget to add, and it becomes a problem in your relationship. So when I wrote age 20 to 35, I was assuming I was going to get maybe somebody at least 29, 30, because at the time I was about 28. So I thought it'd be closer to my age. This dude was 21. And at first, this was not a problem for me until I realized that the age difference, I could feel it because we had two different maturity levels. This became a problem in our relationship. I thought I had covered every single thing that I could possibly cover when I wrote this honey jar petition. But I missed one key thing that I hadn't even thought about, and that was the guy's mother. I have never had any issues with any mothers of any dude that I have ever dated, but this guy's mother in particular was a crazy. This lady came to my house at 1 a.m, said she had a gun, said she's gonna shoot me because she didn't know where he was or whatever, because he was at my house. His mother was so crazy. She would throw hot food on him and lock him out of her house in the middle of winter. Like, I don't know why she was so crazy, because he was a devoted son. He loved his mother to death. We would be in the middle of a date. The mother would call. He would just drop the date and go to his mother. It's like true mama's boy, because me and him were both basically only children. But anyway, his mom was like his girlfriend. I actually told him, you know, your mom, I think she's attracted to you. Like, I think she has feelings for you, because the way she's acting is like a baby mama, like a crazy baby mama. Like, she's like, blah, blah, blah. She thought I had done something to him. And she wrote, literally, it was 7 days, nonstop texting, threatening me. You did this, I'm going to kill you, all day long for 7 days. That is the type of thing you can get if you're not careful when you do a love spell. When you're writing a petition, just don't be too specific, because it can blow up in your face. I did get between 20 and 35. I got a 21-year-old. He matched everything I wanted. He matched the height I wanted. He matched the eyes I wanted. He matched the body frame I wanted, the affection I wanted, but he did not match the maturity level I wanted. When you do a love spell, you have to be in a good place in your heart. You have to be in a good level of maturity in your spirit, because whatever level at your spirit that you are, that will reflect when you do spell work. So if you are having anxiety and you do a love spell, it's going to appear in your spell work. If you have manipulative tendencies or qualities that you are still attempting to get rid of, it's going to appear in your spell work. Depression, that too. Violent nature, that too. So what I attracted was a lot of anxiety, because I was going through a lot of anxiety. So before you attempt to do any love spells, check yourself. Please. I say this out of complete love. Check yourself. Check what your mindset is. Check like what you're eating. Check what's going on in your life. Because sometimes if you are not at your highest level, you will not attract somebody at a quality level. Anyway, next thing that I've learned from love magic. Be careful with the tools you are working with. Find the tools that are best for your situation. So if you want to attract something like puppy love, I would suggest rose quartz. Don't carry Jezebel root. One time, I was trying to attract love, and I decided to carry Jezebel root. Jezebel root is passionate. It has the qualities of fire. Sometimes when you have something that has the qualities of fire, if you do not put your intention in it, you will attract other fire-like situations. So when I was carrying my Jezebel root, I had a lot of arguments. I got into a lot of verbal arguments. I was angry. My body temperature went up. I was very vicious to different dudes I was arguing with. I was just like all over the place. And I was carrying it on my body. And every day I was like, ah, and my appetite started changing. I was just like getting like, I need blood, I need a hamburger now. And I figured out it was this. Once I stopped carrying it, all that stuff stopped. And that's when I realized that I had not set an intention for this tool. So when you are doing a love spell, be mindful of what tools you are using. If you want some intensity, you might want to carry some Jezebel root. You might want to carry carnelian, orange-red carnelian. If you want something gentle, you might want to carry a light blue stone and a rose quartz. You might want to do some meditations for a couple of days to calm yourself down. You might want to have like very light foods over the course of time as you are doing your love work. Other dark side of love work, becoming obsessive. Sometimes you can try to put a spell on someone and it'll come back to you. That is why I don't really do love spells on dudes anymore. I did I have so many mishaps. I can't even count. I can't even count how many mishaps I've had with just love spells alone. My other spells, they're just fine, but the love ones are all over the place. But I decided one day that I wanted this dude so badly. I had liked him for years, and he ended up in my apartment, and it was one of the worst decisions I've ever made. We're still friends, but just the level of passion and arguing and different things that occurred while he was staying in my space was astronomical. And it was worse because he did magic too. So one day I decided to write on a bay leaf that we were together. Even though the universe was showing me that this was not the person for you, Kiara, like, don't do this. But I did it anyway. And what ended up happening was, not long after that, my oven exploded and I lost a tooth. One of my teeth broke off. When you do something, you might have to sacrifice something. There's always usually some type of karmic effect from the working that you are doing, you know? So you have to think, what am I willing to sacrifice for this person? What am I willing to happen to me for this person? When I tried to reconnect with an ex, the 6-year ex this year, I won't even tell you, like, I can't even describe how messed up I got after the spell work that I did trying to bring this dude back. He came back, but not in the way that I wanted him to come back. And right after I did the spell, I lost my other tooth, and I was sick for an entire week. My electric got cut off, and a bunch of stuff happened. So the best thing that you can do if you are doing a love spell is don't do it on any person in particular. Now, mind you, if it is a marriage, I'm okay with that. I'm personally okay with it because the person made a vow with you. The person made a vow. They signed, it is a spiritual contract, it's a marriage, they married you. I wouldn't go to be manipulative, but I would suggest you do love spells to protect your marriage, you know, to protect your bond. Holding on to somebody very tightly can push them further away. If a person wants to stay, they are going to stay. There's nothing that you can do to make them leave. There's nothing that you can say to make them leave. If a person will leave you over the tiniest, pettiest things, they weren't there for you in the first place. Doing love spells on the wrong people will mess you up. It will mess up your finances. It will mess up your body. There's been people that have gotten pregnant by the wrong dude from a botched up love spell. There are people who have gotten murdered from a botched up love spell. STDs. All sorts of things. That's how serious it can get. There are people in this world who will put herbs on their genitals, sleep with you, and you'll be messed up for years. They'll do blood magic from your menstrual blood. They'll put semen and other, I almost cursed. They'll put semen and other stuff in your food. They will hypnotize you. I had a dude try to hypnotize me one time. I was taking a nap, and he came up, whispered in my ear. He's like, "We are one. We are one. You are my girlfriend." Who does that? Just because it gets them for a while does not mean that they're going to stay. It takes energy from you to keep manipulating and manipulating and manipulating this person over and over and over again. It's just going to blow up in your face. That is why the best love spells you can do are on yourself. Not any person in particular. So I gotta go now. I hope you learned a lot from what I've told you about this book, even though it was like half of it was me personal experiences. But if you're a beginner, I'm just telling you the dark side of love. Even like people that go into marriages. That's why I do my best to not try to get with someone in a relationship, because I know the karma that will come. There was a woman who was a mistress for 10 years. Her and the dude were in the same field. They were both doctors. She decided to leave this dude. She got a whole new boyfriend. She got pregnant by the boyfriend. She was living her best life with her own dude. Why the guy that she was sleeping with orchestrated an entire kidnapping, kidnapped this lady, held her hostage. They tortured her for like 3 or 4 days and murdered her baby. Karma might not just hit you, it can hit your baby. It can hit your children. It can hit your finances. The same with love spells. Don't try to manipulate somebody with a love spell. It never works. Even if it worked for a little while, you're going to have to keep doing it and doing it and doing it, and you will never be happy because it won't be true feelings towards you. It'll just be like a zombie. If you want a zombie, you can have a zombie. But if you want true love, I would suggest just working on yourself. Beautify yourself, beautify your diet, do all of that stuff. So, I gotta go now. I love you, everyone. Have a beautiful day and look forward to more book reviews. Bye-bye.